I know.
Smith, what's wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
Get it together, man. We want to cut that out. Our jobs are definitely interesting.
Yeah, to say the least. It took me a long time to grow up. I've been an idiot half my life.
Because this is not a field where...
It's not for you.
Yeah, like a time at your job, you're going to be absolutely miserable. Like, things are not peachy day to day, so if you can't laugh at what's happening, as bad as it is...
Some of it will be dark comedy, folks. We're not going to lie. It's all love. We're just hoping there's a lot of workers out there who will relate. Welcome back to another episode of Offbeat Banter with Jay and Lex, the funniest unlikely duo. This is the podcast where we talk everything and anything mental health. Today's topic of mental health is going to be social anxiety.
Like and subscribe if you want to hear more from us. We're now available on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Today we have a special guest. It's actually someone that I work with. We invited her over, and we're really excited to learn more about our friend Alicia.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Alicia.
Hello, Alicia. This is actually the first time you guys are meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
So it'll be good. I think it'll be a good episode. We're going to talk a little bit about social anxiety and our different perspectives on it. We're going to hear about Alicia's story and her struggles with mental health and some future plans she has coming up. And then we're going to play a fun game. Let's get started. Let's talk about social anxiety, guys.
All right. Well, I know for a fact you and I are the opposites once again.
Yeah.
On this topic.
Yeah.
We both feel anxiety towards this topic, but definitely in a different way.
Yeah.
I'm extremely extroverted for the most part, and you, I would say, you ride that fine line. You're definitely an ambivert in the sense that I think you're comfortable in both scenarios where you can be social if you need to, but I think you definitely want to be in very small groups of people as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm definitely more comfortable in smaller circles.
Yeah.
Like, I'm way more social and outgoing. And we talked a little bit in the first episode about it, that I'd rather be alone forever. That's that's literally what I said. I'm like, if no one ever spoke to me, I'd be perfectly fine. But, I think I get a lot of anxiety prior to hanging out with people and being in groups and gatherings with people. But then once I'm in it, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I'm okay once we actually get going and we're all talking. But the thoughts prior to it definitely cause a lot of anxiety for me.
See, I've always been the comedic guy who wants the attention in a certain sense. Like, I like entertaining. But at the same time, like, for example, I can go on stage and I can play in front of, 1,000 people and I'll feel extremely comfortable. Yeah. But I walk down the hall in a mall and I'm like, oh my God, like, kill me now, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's so...
But yours is different. It's because you want everyone to like you.
That's the thing. I'm extremely self-conscious and I need the assurance that people are accepting me.
Which is funny because no one gives a shit. Like, no one gives a shit what you look like. No one gives a shit what you act like when you're in public. Random people don't care.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just how I am. And it's definitely something I need to work on.
Alicia, what about you?
I have the same kind of feelings where I want to make sure that people like me and everything, but I'd rather just blend into the wall instead of do something to make them like me.
Yeah.
I'd rather be like, you don't see me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I also have the thoughts beforehand before meeting up with people. If there's even one person that I don't know or it's a place I haven't been, I'm going to lose my mind before I get there. Yeah. And it'll probably go one of two ways. I'll either warm up and be fantastic, or I'm just going to shut down and everyone's going to think I'm the party pooper.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I usually overcompensate and I get like very rowdy, which I think like you've seen when we're meeting your friends and your family. Like, I get overly social and everyone's like, oh, she's so outgoing. And I'm like, stop me now. I can't stop. It's verbal diarrhea.
Yeah. Well, it's like, if we talk about work, new people, I'll be orientating them or whatever at work, and they'll be like, oh my God, you're so comfortable, like you're outgoing. And I'm like, I'm actually like the biggest like hermit introvert on the planet. Yeah. Like, I just stay at home in bed all the time. Yeah. I don't go places. I don't want to go places. But everyone's like, oh my God, like you literally burst out dancing and singing like on the floor out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, at work Alicia's like the most comfortable, outgoing person ever.
I think comfort is one of the main keywords in this subject. And I think it goes hand in hand with our topic last week with change. Because like you said, you get comfortable with things over time and it can alter your personality towards that scenario. So like for example, I absolutely love change. But I get anxiety from change, but I need change. It's
it's like that anxiety that like keeps it going. It's just the right amount of adrenaline to keep him going, and I'm like,
But if I get in too much of a pocket where I'm doing the same shit every day, it's a fine line of depression for me where I need that next best thing as I go.
See, I feel that I'm in my 28th house right now.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's perfect. Yeah.
Like I'm in my 28th house. Yeah. For a long time, it was like moving every year. And we joke that my family should open a moving company. Yeah. Because we've all moved so much. Yeah. My mom tells everyone she's like the best at furniture Tetris because she can make an entire house fit in a truck without any issue. She does everything on like from like floor to shoulder level, and then I get up on stuff and I'm packing the top part of it because we've just gotten so good at it.
Yeah, well that's
But I hate
we packed in a day both of our places and moved because Jay decided, he's like, I think we should move on Friday. It was a Wednesday. I think we should move on Friday because we had our place.
We got the keys and I was like, I'm in a situation right now that I'm not happy in. It's not necessarily the safest scenario, so I wanted out, and I'm just so used to doing it. I've moved prior to being on my own. Me and my mother and my siblings moved a lot. I've brought this up on the podcast before, where I cold-heartedly believe that my mother has a syndrome towards living in the same place for too long at a time. So she's moved me my whole life, and on top of that, I've been on my own since I was young, and I've made a lot of mistakes along the road, and from apartment to apartment. But then it just became a thing where I kind of felt the same, where it's like, oh, my 12-month lease is coming up. Like, I could look for a new place. And it's the excitement of doing that.
Well, see, my great-grandparents built their house in war times, and so they didn't have the money to move, so that when they got fed up with the place they were in, they would knock down the walls and just reconfigure the inside of the house.
Well, that's definitely one way to do it, too.
So, like, the living room would become 2 bedrooms, and, like, they would just rearrange it. So my grandma grew up in that, and then she ended up with my grandpa, who had money from working his way up on the Great Lake Freighters. So when she got fed up with it, they'd do what they could with paint, and then they'd move. Yeah. So my mom grew up with that.
Yeah.
And then I grew up with moving where the work was.
Right.
So, like, I got a little bit of all of it.
Yeah. Right,
and I'm like, where are my roots?
Yeah,
because I'm done. Yeah. I've got 2 more moves in me. I'm done.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, people who go home to their, parents' house and have their room they grew up in and everything's still in there and whatnot, it's so foreign to me because my mom's moved so many times since I was a kid, and there is that house where I think 6 maybe 7 years that we lived in that I would think of as that
6
house
or 7 years.
Hey, I got 5.
Oh my, you guys are insane.
I had to force my mom to keep my report cards because she's just trying to throw everything that's mine at me. And I'm like, you don't want me to have that. I will lose them. Put them in your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you need your report cards?
Oh, she's even got some of my macaroni art. Like,
why?
Because I made it and I'm her only child.
Okay, but why?
She's also a teacher. I guess so.
Yeah, okay.
We're the only sentimental people in my family.
Lots of teachers in my family and holding on to sentimental things like that. I get it.
We're the only ones. But because of all of that change, I don't handle the change, and that definitely feeds into any kind of anxiety with new situations. Like 100% it does.
Interesting.
Well, I love how the psyche is different from person to person. And you can all feel the exact same emotion, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I lock on to what makes me comfortable, and that's the only thing that gets me through like anything. So like at work, I'm comfortable because I've been in the field for 12 years. So if I want to dance, the people I'm working with client-wise aren't going to care. They'll either join me or laugh at me or not care.
Right.
And the staff will get used to it because welcome to the field.
Well, and I mean, in our field, you get such a sense of purity, right?
Exactly.
Because they don't have the filters we do.
Yeah.
And
it's
so very humbling. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. You find yourself, acting that way a lot more in society where it's like, I'm going to give less shits about what people think because it's just ridiculous to do so.
As long as you keep the language clean on the floor as much as you can, the filter can go out the window.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times when mine has switched off. You've seen it. There's been times where it's come out, but you pick and choose.
That's the other thing with our industry is every worker's different. So they
absolutely.
all approach, even if it's programming and certain protocol, you're going to approach it differently. Your mannerisms, the way you speak, like... So, and for me, for example, like my tone sometimes doesn't work great with some of the boys at work because of the clash and the anxiety they're getting from, feeling intimidated or whatever the case may be. So I have to check myself with that sometimes. But
well, Lexi's seen my tone go all over the place depending on who I'm talking to. Yeah. Like, we have one guy, I talk to him like he's probably about 5. It's that very, like, kindergarten teacher-esque type voice.
Like, Alicia turns into this person.
I do.
I'm like, who is that?
And then there's another person where it's just like, yo, dude, like, knock it off. Like, it's a situation, a person. And then, like, parents call and it's customer service. I'm back on drive-thru at Harvey's.
Well,
like,
exactly. Customer's always right.
Alicia speaking. How can I help you?
Yeah, she's seen that one too. I go from complaining and being like, I can't believe this. Oh my god, I need to get out of here. Oh my god, and the phone rings. Hi, this is Alicia. What can I get for you? Like it's back to drive-thru.
It's so funny. It's so good. Yeah.
But when you're comfortable, you don't, even if the anxiety's there, you can still hold on to whatever's making you comfortable.
You have to be good at putting on an act. That's for sure.
So all of my drama background comes in handy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Me too. Yes. Yeah. I did musical theater.
Exactly. I wrote a play in grade 8 that was musical theater. We based it on the book The Outsiders.
Oh. Good book though.
Yeah.
Great movie.
I played the older brother.
That's dope.
My name was I was Harold.
Oh.
Harold.
I was a girl.
Oh.
Named Harold.
Oh, so you still played a female role?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was a greaser. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We sang songs from like Les Mis and Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. We appropriated a whole bunch of songs from Broadway that should not have been part of a greaser situation.
Interesting.
Somehow it worked.
That's hilarious. That's so good. I was going to say, with the pandemic, I noticed, I don't know about you guys, but like I noticed my social anxiety when I'm in public spaces has gotten so much worse. Like I can't even go to a grocery store without feeling some sort of anxiety now.
Now, is that
I hate it.
Is that towards the virus or is it towards
I don't know.
The social aspect itself?
I think it's a combination of both. It's like, oh, there's so many people here. Oh, there's people too close to each other. There's people close to me. And it's not like I'm going to get sick in any way. I think it's just we've been so programmed that like you need to keep distance and you want to make sure. And it's like people aren't following rules. Like I get that kind of anxiety.
And it's weird to be not even interacting, but being close to people who aren't your people.
Yeah.
So you work with the same people every day. You go home to the same person, and it's
That's and I've always been bad with crowds. Like I've always gotten really bad anxiety in crowds. Yeah. So I don't know. It's gotten a lot worse. I feel like
I got
Alicia
knocked to the ground.
Tested positive when this was
November 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, during our outbreak.
Yep.
Yeah, it was not a good time. But see, I mean, I didn't have a lot of anxiety through the outbreak. Like, I don't think that was a big thing. There was a lot of like uncomfortable physically and mentally and, working with short staff and stuff like that. So like, there's a lot of feelings about that, but it wasn't like I'm afraid of getting sick. I don't think I am in any way afraid of getting sick, but Yeah, I don't know what it is. Now I'm like, there's people. There's too many people. I'm so used to not having people around me. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Well, even before I got sick, I never had this could be terrible if I get sick. I was like, I'm probably going to get sick because I have no immune system.
That's what I've always figured for the past year. Yeah.
Right.
So when I did get sick, I was like, this feels like a really bad flu. And it was way worse than a really bad flu. I'll be completely honest. Like, I did get to a point where I almost went to get checked out at a hospital.
Right.
But even afterwards, I'm just like, okay, so that happened. What's next?
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird line to walk on, just with what we do.
Yeah.
Where it's, are you apathetic towards something so that you can get through with your job, or do you genuinely not care?
Right. And it's interesting how people don't take it serious until you're in an outbreak.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think I've become more or less conscious about it. I've just...
Yeah.
I think I've done the same throughout working this job.
Yeah.
Obviously, when the pandemic first started, 90% of society did not take it serious enough.
Oh, I
was
did.
Like, oh,
I was one of those crazy people with the gloves and the mask at all times, like in March.
I wasn't. I heard it through the news, and it was what it was. I'm like, until it's...
I was like,
I was selfish, right? It's like until it's in the way of my life, it's nothing to fucking worry about. And that's how I thought about it.
See, it didn't change my personal life. It changed work.
Yeah.
My personal life has not changed a single bit since all of this started because I live alone with my cat and I don't do anything on my days off.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's changed nothing. But when it first kicked in, the only thing I was worried about was the guys we work with. It was, okay, so am I going to get punched in the face because I can't go into a store today?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's where I was with it. It wasn't, oh my God, we're going to get sick. It was, okay, so these guys are going to flip out because they don't understand what's happening.
And that's what people
We've
don't
talked
think
about it so much.
Yeah.
Like, I feel so bad it's been a year of this and our guys have not been able to do so many things that they're used to. And they don't have much to start with, right? No. Like, there's so many limits on what they're allowed to do and what they get to do. So when they get taken away their, rec trips and outings and visits with family, it's like... I understand why they're struggling, 100%.
Well, the flip side is you didn't see them a year ago or a year and a half ago to see where they were. They are handling things so well compared to what we thought they would.
They are.
That's the other thing is when you start a job within the pandemic, it's like you don't know the other side of it.
Well, we worked at the other place. I was there when it started, so our guys were also struggling because they were kids. Yeah. And for them, it was hard because they used to go home like every weekend for home visits and they would stay for 3-4 days at a time. And then all of a sudden it was like, they can't even come see you. Yeah.
Well, in my first job, like my job at the time when it first started, I was with very, very low functional, low cognitive ability clients. And it was harder because you can't explain to them. Yeah. You can't even try. Yeah. And you can see in their mannerisms, you can see the depression and when they get in behavior, why. And it's just pure confusion on why, I can't leave the house I live in, right? So
honestly, some of our guys, they were just more bummed that they couldn't go into Tim Hortons to sit down and have their donut. Yeah. But they were super stoked they didn't have to do walks anymore.
Of course, yeah.
So always... they found the silver lining.
Yeah, there's always
before
pros and cons to everything. Yeah. Yeah, they'll take advantage as much as they can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I honestly, building their social skills is a lot of what our job is. And it's nuts to think this is going to fuck them up so much towards that development.
Absolutely.
So who knows what's going to happen when we come out of this.
I just hope that it's not a floodgate situation where it's like, okay, so it's been a trickle and now everything's open and boom, too much excitement. Yeah. Because that's the other flip side.
Yeah.
There's got to be a fine line on how we kind of break them back into the social world.
Got to be slow.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll see that soon.
So, it turns out that I'm a social butterfly. You're one who wants to hide within the flowers.
Yeah. But if I'm with a group of friends that are they seem a little less assertive than I am, which it is possible. Yeah. Just, then I take the assertive role.
Bloom, yeah.
I'm the same. Yeah. I get that. I get that.
I remember, so side note, I lived in Scotland for high school. I did 4 years over there.
That's wicked.
So my mom...
I'm so jealous.
Me and my mom and a friend of mine were walking around downtown Glasgow. We were out shopping, and me and my mom broke out singing a song from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Nice.
And my friend started walking on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
And we were singing at the top of our lungs to her. However, if it was just me and my mom and she started breaking out singing, I would be the one on the other side of the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it depends on who I'm with.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the same. Totally.
Right?
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's that bit of comfort that you hold on to.
Right.
And if you have that, you're able to be more outgoing and able to not let the anxiety win, so to speak.
For sure. Well, it's like I explained with gigs, like that's just where I feel comfortable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm confident in that.
Yes, yes.
And it's rare that I'm very confident when it comes to...
That's not true.
I'm very social, or I'm self-conscious, so it's I hide. I come off.
Yeah, but you don't
very
show
confident.
it. Yeah, you
that's
never
what I mean.
show it.
I'm amazing at hiding it.
Well, I mean, I am too, but I was dancing in the supermarket with my mom today.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it depends on who I'm with.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you sing like openly in the middle of a supermarket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he breaks that into songs and dances all the time.
Yeah.
So like there is some sort of...
Yeah. So the moral of the story, folks, is just be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck what people think.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck what you look like or what you're doing.
There's billions of people on this planet, and we're all different.
Yeah,
find that little thing that makes you comfortable, even if it's wearing a certain watch band that makes you happy. Just something small that makes you happy, and just hold on to it.
Makes you feel like you're shining, then shine away.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Perfect. All right, so I jogged some pointers down, but mostly I'm just gonna let you kind of talk about stuff, and I'll jump in and steer you the right way. I guess. Good. Yeah. Well, we can start off with like growing up. So you already mentioned that you were moving a lot.
Oh yeah.
Where did you start? Where were you born?
I was born in St. Catharines, down in Niagara.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I was there for 6 months.
Oh wow.
We're off to a good start.
And then I was in Welland. For a couple houses, because
still Niagara area.
My dad is the youngest of 9. My grandmother on his side is the oldest of 12.
Wow.
They pretty much populate all of Welland.
Wow. Now, is your family close?
I don't live there for a reason.
Ah, okay.
I'll put it that way.
So they might be close, but
yeah.
I was gonna say I don't.
Here's the outsider.
So it's been me and my mom, just us, since just before I was 2.
Oh, okay.
So I was very young. I don't really remember the divorce or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there was visitation and stuff, but I mean, dark story. I remember having a window shattered on me and my mom when I was 5 when my dad came to pick me up for visitation.
Okay.
So, you know, I have good and bad memories from when I was younger, and they definitely shaped things.
Now, has anything come from this with your father since? Do you have a relationship with him?
Not really.
No? Okay.
Last time he communicated, it was to tell me that his new wife's daughter had a kid and I had a niece, even though I don't know his new wife's kid.
Right. I've heard these stories
many
times.
Yeah. It was, here's a picture of me holding a newborn. Welcome your new niece. Yeah. And I was like, whose is it?
Yeah, really.
Because you've been married 3 times now.
Yeah.
So I was hoping for like my ex-stepbrother that it was his, because he's been trying with his wife for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nothing's come from it. So I was hoping, and when it came back that it wasn't, I was like, hey, have fun.
Yeah.
Don't know this person, don't care. Pretty much.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I mean, that was definitely a negative part of the growing up, but I was always super, super close with my mom's side of the family.
Okay.
Because she was a single mom, it was half my childhood spent with my grandma.
Right.
So in school for child and youth work, we had to do like our family of origin.
Yeah.
And I said I had 3 parents, and the whole class went, huh?
Yeah.
And I said my mom and my grandparents.
Yeah.
Like I literally had 2 moms.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, my
And it was
grandmother.
Yeah, we
was
can
a
definitely
mom.
relate. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we also
for
had
sure.
the same kind of
Yeah.
like relationship with our grandparents.
And it was the greatest thing ever, because I grew up on classic and psychedelic rock with my mom, and Elvis and golden oldies and musicals with my grandma. And then I
Beautiful.
found the Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls.
Yeah.
So
Well-rounded.
like between
Well-rounded.
them, I mean, System of a Down and Linkin Park came in there at some point,
Oh, yeah.
but you know,
That's
it's a well-rounded thing. My mom calls me an eccentric enigma,
Oh.
and it's
There we
pretty
go.
true.
Yeah.
It's
That's a
pretty
good way
true.
to put it.
So,
Right on.
but no, I moved a lot, mostly so my mom could go where the work was,
Okay.
and I was just the tag along. When I was younger, I didn't care as much. But that one place that I lived for 5 years, I was in Midland.
Yeah.
From March break of grade 2 until the end of grade 7.
Oh, wow. So that was like the really
formative years. 3 houses in that time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. The first one that the owner sold it out from under us after 6 months.
Aw.
But we moved at the end of grade 7.
Okay.
I'd been with these peoples from grade 2, and I wanted to do grade 8 with them and graduate.
Mm-hmm.
Right, of course.
Mm-hmm.
We moved back down to St. Catharines. So my mom could go to university and finish her Bachelor of Arts.
Okay.
Her 4th degree.
Oh, wow.
She has 6 now.
Huh.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Only one of them was before I was born.
Well, good for her then.
Yeah.
Technical theater.
Shit.
It comes naturally.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when we moved back down for grade 8, it was really, really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm meeting new friends. I'm in French immersion. Yeah. I'm in a whole new town. I had to give up my pets, like everything.
Yeah.
And then going to a whole new school for high school after that. And then, after grade 9, we moved to another country.
Oh, wow.
So it was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I was in college the 3rd time around that I figured out that I actually had any mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Were you the only Canadian girl at your high school?
Yes, but there was 2 Canadian teachers, my mom and another English teacher, which was great.
Teacher's favorite?
No, it meant all of my teachers went to my mother when they wanted me to do stuff.
And
she'd go, "Who are you? Why aren't you talking to my child? And why are you talking to me?"
Okay, that's good. That's good that your mom was like that, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because some parents would be like, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And it's also because the first time I ever wrote an essay, I was 16, 17. I hadn't written an essay.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
I know.
Okay.
And we were on break from school, and the teacher had told us an exact way to do it, and my mom was telling me a different way to do it, and we got in a 3-hour screaming match, tears and all, and she was forbidden from helping me with any homework ever since then.
I've gone through that with all my parents. Let's call them that.
Side note, I'm a redhead Taurus with Gemini tendencies, and my mother is a strawberry blonde Capricorn.
Oh.
He's a Capricorn.
You put the 2 of us together for 18 years, and that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the mental health side definitely went down when I moved to Scotland.
Did you ever talk to your mom about that? Like, did she know what was happening at the time?
So, kind of, but I didn't find out till I got older that she knew.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't till I was like in my 20s that I was like, "Oh, you knew about that?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Okay, so there wasn't like an open communication conversation going about that.
Open communication about everything else, but I hadn't even clued in to my own mental health issues.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. And she still doesn't understand them.
Okay.
She tries. In her defense, she does try, but she doesn't get it.
Now, within the 4 years you were there, you said it subsided a bit? Or it got worse?
At the beginning, it got worse.
Okay.
I was depressed.
Yeah.
You know, I just finished grade 9. I finally had a group of people.
Yeah.
And now I'm in inner city Glasgow.
Right.
When I did most of my growing up in Midland.
Yeah. Very different.
9-day difference.
So, you know, like we step off the airplane over there and I'm like, okay, what are we doing now?
Yeah.
And we went over there so she could get her teaching degree.
Right.
Because she had the opportunity to go overseas for it. So she could only work 20 hours a week.
Right.
And we were living in not the worst part of Glasgow, but the second to worst part of Glasgow.
Okay.
You didn't leave your house at night without a group of people, a weapon, or a car.
Wow.
Okay.
Because of your postcode.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a culture shock.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was depressed and just, I didn't eat. I was, you know, homesick for at least the first 6 months we were there.
Yeah.
And it did feed in, but once...
Did you end up making friends?
I did.
Speaking of social anxiety?
I did.
So after the 4 years, you come back.
I come back. I'm already 19. I've already partied for the year because the drinking age is 18.
Oh, yes.
I spent 4 nights a week for a year drunk.
Well, now you said, so you went there and the culture shock, everything, the depression came on from the change. within the 4 years, did you get comfortable enough where when you were about to leave, it was like, oh, fuck, Mom. Like, I just got used to this.
I get homesick for Scotland.
Really?
Yeah. You told me this.
I do.
Yeah.
So I was only in Glasgow for 1 year.
Okay.
And then we moved out west onto a peninsula, and the town was, it was a village of Sandbank in the town of Dunoon.
Interesting.
In the
My
area
family's
was
from Inverness, so they're
okay.
Highlands.
Yeah, we were Argyll and Butte. We were just at the base of the Highlands at the end of Holy Loch.
Holy Loch.
When the tide was out, it was all mud. When the tide was in, it was a lot of water. We were on the only road in or out.
My language.
I have no idea what's happening.
And and the road, you could either take the ferry from Dunoon in the town. You could take the ferry across and then catch the train in. Oh, I think it was Port Glasgow, but I could be wrong. It might have been Gurrick. It was Gurrick.
Okay.
Over to Glasgow.
Okay.
It was like an hour total trip. Or you could drive for 2 hours on the one road in or out because it was a peninsula.
Wow.
And that road was called the Rest and Be Thankful.
The Rest and Be Thankful.
It was a terrible road. It was all cliffs. It was very, very narrow. And there was so many sheep.
I was going to say the sheep.
So many sheep.
What do you mean? They're just on the road?
You have to stop and wait for them to pass. It's like being in India with like cows that you have to stop for. It's sheep.
And like us with geese?
Ireland's the same. Yeah.
Well,
is it us with geese?
There's also a town. It was the high school I went to on the peninsula in Dunoon, where my mom taught, it was the only high school in a 10-mile radius. So kids would come from 45 minutes out and they would stay at a hostel for the week and then go home on the weekends because it was too much of a commute.
Wow.
Because they don't understand what a commute is over there. They would go 45 minutes from Glasgow to Edinburgh and stay the weekend because that's too much.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a day trip.
Yeah.
The joke that European countries are like Canadian backyards, where it's like you can just skip from one to the next in one day of training. So.
If you've ever been to Newfoundland, it's literally Scotland.
Yeah.
Like it's little Scotland.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. We gotta go.
Like Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, that you're basically in like the knockoff of the UK. Yeah. Like that's what it is.
My grandmother and her friends go almost every year that they can, and it's one of her favorite spots. I mean, she's traveled all around the world.
Yeah, she has.
She absolutely loves.
She's been to my hometown.
So.
I've never been out east. My mom has, and when we went over to Scotland, she was like, "Oh my god, I get it now."
Yeah.
But I'm technically a quarter Newfie, so like at some point I should make it over there.
Oh no, I have to go for sure.
I'm Irish and Newfie for the most part, and some French Canadian thrown in there, so you know it's great.
Wow, you're like as Canadian.
I've also got some straight off the boat English, and Welsh.
Yeah. Okay.
Like literally.
Jay's got all kinds of.
Yeah, I'm all over the map.
What are you?
We've Native, African, Scottish, Irish. So you come back.
I come back at 19. Yeah. Okay. I've already done my partying.
Now, what made you want to go to school for mental health?
Jay doesn't know anything.
So my mom stayed in Scotland.
Okay.
She continued teaching. She ended up being over in the UK for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
I came back after 4.
Wow.
So I came back.
Your decision or hers?
Mine, because it was cheaper for me to do college here than to be an international student.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I applied to multiple Scottish universities and got in for a double honors in English and history because I was going to be a teacher.
Oh.
Surprising, I know. I had a brain once upon a time. Mm-hmm. I actually got good grades at some time in my life. So I came back into general arts and sciences in Welland at Niagara College.
Okay.
Because I had other family down there from my mom's side.
Right.
So I get there. I find out that if I would have stayed in Scotland for another year, it would have been free.
Oh, fuck. Did they change the laws?
Nope. I just didn't look at them hard enough.
Okay.
So
you gotta love that.
I moved into resident on campus, and my mental health went down even further. Oh. I couldn't find a job.
Okay.
They were basing my student loans off my mom's wage. She was working in the UK. They were taking her salary in pounds. They were converting it into dollars. It looked like twice the amount she was making. And so I was getting just enough for tuition and books and maybe enough to live for the first month or so. I basically lived on the kindness of friends.
Yeah.
They'd be like, we're going out. And I'm like, okay, do you want to come? I can't afford anything. We didn't ask that. I still have a lot of guilt about that. To be completely honest, I still have a lot of guilt about that.
Okay.
But it's not like you were trying to be a mooch, right?
It's just it's the cards I was dealt.
No, right? Of course. Yeah.
But there was times where I would be so hungry that I would take a Gravol to go to bed because I didn't have anything to put in my stomach, and I needed something to help me sleep so that I could just forget that my stomach was growling.
Right.
So that really didn't help either.
Oh, absolutely.
The one thing we didn't talk about when I was about 12 is really when the mental health stuff started, because that's when the comments about my weight started.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was, oh, well, you could stand to lose about 20 pounds, 30 pounds. I'm 12.
Yeah.
Who's telling you this?
Family.
Oh, I mean, I have the same family.
They meant well. They meant well, but it was generations.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, that is already programmed in. Mm-hmm. And so then all of this other stuff, time goes by, it's still programmed in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So after first year, I moved up to Barrie to finish at Georgian because my grandparents were up in Midland.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll move up there. They'll help me out, like whatever. I only got $3,000 for OSAP that year.
Oh.
Because my mom was at a new school and her wage had gone up.
Oh,
and I still hadn't been out of high school long enough for my own wage.
Yeah.
Still couldn't find a job. Ended up dropping out past the dropout date, so I did not get any money back.
Oh.
And ended up working full-time at Harvey's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So much fun. Oh my God.
Love that.
It was the start of the 3 Harveys that I worked at. I was there for about a year and a half, and then I went to Aurelia for child and youth work.
Okay.
I was always that kid that wanted to help people.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I either wanted to be a pop star or a doctor.
Yeah.
Literally equal measure. But then I realized that I don't do needles.
Oh,
and
I do.
Singing in front of people is not a good thing for me because anxiety.
Oh, yeah, it's real. Yeah, it's funny because, the whole rock star thing for me, like a huge part of that and wanting to have that persona at the end of the day was towards helping others. Like I didn't care so much for the fame of, who I am, and you're gonna praise me as a fucking celebrity. Like most scenarios, it was more I am your god. Yeah. I wanted to go to high schools and be like if
you can get here.
Yeah, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I wanted to be a guest speaker, which is funny because I'm terrible at speaking. Like,
no. I mean, it's a life goal, like for sure. Like wanting to help people is always a goal, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's something that's in your sphere or not, right? Like,
like when I see YouTubers, for example, and they're making way too much money, but they utilize it towards good things, like they're paying, random people's tuition, or they're buying families' cars, and that would be me all day long.
Yeah.
I think I would need to do that because I would feel so bad about having so much fucking money. And it's like,
settle your own debts and then help people out.
Yeah. So that was a huge part of why I wanted success.
For sure. But I started CYW in Aurelia and ended up basically homeless after first year.
Okay.
I was left holding the bag with an apartment that I couldn't afford on my own.
Yeah.
I was left single.
Been there. Yeah.
I had a choice between, you can have the cat or the giant piece of canvas art behind the couch, and I said, "Okay, I will take the cat."
Yeah.
Obviously. Ended up moving back in with my family. So I took a year and a half off school trying to get in. Moved back down to St. Catharines, Welland area, and I finished my schooling in Welland again.
Okay.
Literally just kept doing circles.
Yeah.
Always goes back to Niagara and the Midland Barrie area.
That's like me with Kitchener.
Fair enough.
I've been in and out so many times.
Yep.
Yeah.
My friends make fun of me every time I end up back. They're like, yeah, we knew you'd be back.
Yeah. But the when I went down to Niagara to finish child and youth work is when I figured out my mental health problems.
Okay. So that was
I was 23.
Yeah, okay.
I was 23. And I don't remember what sparked it. But I ended up going to counseling. So this would have been 2015, 2016. So I would have been 26, turning 27.
Okay.
I went to the free counselor at the school. I was overwhelmed, and I think I was failing classes. I think that's what it was. And she was the perfect counselor for me because she would literally look at me and be, you're being fucking stupid.
Yeah, you told me this.
Like, it was great. She was perfect.
Yeah.
She's like,
it's
you're
amazing
being
when you can
dumb.
find that person.
Yes.
I still have not been able to do so, and I get so jealous when someone's on a path and it actually works, and they're like, this is what I needed.
Yeah.
It was hilarious because I was learning in school what not to do in counseling situations.
Right.
And my counselor did everything I was told not to.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yes. But I was like,
not by the books.
Yes. Huh?
Yeah, but everyone's different. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You can't mold this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at that point, my overthinking had gotten so bad. And it is anxiety. It's depression as well. But I'm classic overthinker. And it had gotten so bad that I remember telling my counselor the day she told me to get diagnosed. I said, I was doing the dishes the other day and I had the thought that my boyfriend was going to come home and yell at me for not cleaning while I was cleaning.
Yeah.
And she said, you're being stupid. And then she said, you're diagnosed, right? And I said, no. And she handed me a checklist and said, fill this out and give it to your doctor.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I was
That's all
26.
it takes. But it takes someone to care enough to
Well,
say.
and sometimes you need that reality check, right? Like, you're not always aware that things that you're doing and things you're used to are not okay, considering,
I think
in comparison to others.
I think people need to be more vocal, too, where it's part of social anxiety, where it's like, I'm feeling these things, I know I'm feeling it, but it's terrifying to tell someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of good can come from that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I went the medication route. I've tried a couple different meds now. I'm on one that thankfully has stabilized some things. But I mean, it wasn't until I was 26 that I even knew there was something going on.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with family members, seeing family members and different people having bouts of depression. Or anxiety or mental health, but just bouts of, not diagnosed, this is what it is.
Well,
just,
like you said, you've felt it since you were 12.
Yeah.
But coming to the realization of what it is is a huge eye-opener.
Oh, yeah. And once that hit, it was like, okay, like, now I know this is what it is. And she gave me an awesome
book
book for cognitive behavior therapy.
Okay.
So it's basically like a workbook.
CBT's the shit, man.
It's I think I've done maybe 15 pages of it, and it's now 2021. But I'm more aware of things. Yeah. And at first I was, I actually became a hermit. Like, I quit my job. All of my school was online, so I could do it from home. I smoked a lot of pot.
Well, that's the cannabis does the same for me, where if I smoke copious amounts of it, I become extremely antisocial.
Well, see, I didn't start smoking it until I was in my 20s.
Ah, okay.
So it was my way to just dull everything out.
I'm surprised you didn't, self-medicate earlier than that.
I wasn't around it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's true. I guess
I wasn't around it.
You were in Scotland for your high school years, and
I mean, grade 9, I had one friend that their parents owned a pharmacy, and they used to bring in caffeine pills and trade them for weed with the kid that grew the weed in his attic. So
wild.
Like, I had
pills.
that.
Yeah.
But at the same, they would trade it. So like the guy that was perma-stoned would be awake for class.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. That's why it's so funny.
It was
so ridiculous.
I'll give you this box of pills if you can give me 2 nugs. Like that's literally, I saw it, but I wasn't around it being smoked or used or anything. Yeah. So it wasn't till I was in res when I moved back from Scotland that I was around it. Yeah. And it was actually the guy that brought the caffeine pills in.
Oh, that's so funny.
Who is now my hairstylist that we've spoken about.
That's amazing.
He's my oldest friend.
Yeah.
He's the oldest friend I have, and it's from grade 8.
So good.
Small world.
I know.
Yeah.
With all the moving and stuff you've been doing. Like, that's
so to
awesome.
have someone from even from grade 8.
Yeah.
But no, like I would use that to dull things, and I would only talk to maybe 2 or 3 other people outside of my partner at the time, and I wasn't going places. I was constantly afraid of seeing family because, as I said, so many family members down there.
Yeah.
I couldn't go out places.
Okay.
Because I was terrified of seeing people, or just I didn't know enough about what was going on with me, and the anxiety was definitely taking over at that point.
Yeah.
I hadn't figured out how I could handle it yet.
Right.
Okay.
Now I'm just like, yeah, whatever. This is me.
Yeah, now you just accept that it is what it is, and you kind of take it one day at a time.
Before I moved up to Barrie is when I started in the field. Before I started my CYW. Mm-hmm. I did that first.
Okay.
I worked at a summer camp first. So much fun.
But you love your job, and you always talk about how much you love your job.
I do.
Yes.
Well,
I absolutely love my job.
I'm sure we can all agree that if you have the patience and the stability to do this job, I think you should do it, because there's only so many people. And there's a lot of people in the industry, which we can all amount to, who do not do it properly or should not be working in this industry.
Yeah.
They're there for a paycheck, and that's not why you do our job.
No, never. Like that is the last job.
Paycheck is not what it should be in the first place.
Yes.
So believe it when we say, folks, we don't do it for the money.
One of my teachers in first year for child and youth work, he used to work at is it Thistletown down in Toronto. It closed down the year that he came to teach us. He was the head of the CACYC.
Okay. Wow.
So the Child and Youth Care Association of Ontario.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he did our practical lab. So we lost a lot of students.
Yeah.
Because of that lab, because he brought real world examples to the classroom.
Right.
And he would be like, you will do the most of your counseling outside of an office.
Oh, yeah.
You are going to do the most of your counseling folding laundry or doing dishes or driving to an appointment or tucking them in for bed.
Yeah.
And then he would tell us some of the things that he had gone through. And it was amazing, because he also said, you're never going to be rich. This is not for the money. You will be comfortable, but you will not be rolling in money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if this is not what you want, get out now.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with nurses, right?
Yeah.
There's so many people go into nursing school based on, it's a hefty paycheck, and it's like
it's
really
not.
It's really
isn't.
not.
No.
It's really isn't.
For the amount of hours and work that you put into it, absolutely not.
Yeah. No. People think we make a lot more than we do, and it's.
I mean, we do an appreciation from strangers.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
And I will say it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way to put it, for sure.
Because when I tell people what I do, I respect you so much.
Oh, I could never do
that.
that.
That's my favorite. I could never do that.
Oh, it takes a certain person to be able to. Good for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, it feels great, but they still have no concept of what we're doing.
See, my professor was the exact same way. She had 20 years experience, and I think when you bring in specific people who aren't by the book and haven't been, in a classroom for the last 15 years.
Those are the best professors.
Yeah, because, and like she told us straight up, she's like, this is what it is. This is what you could deal with in a daily,
Well,
basis.
I had that in first year. They all knew what they were doing. They'd been in the field. And then when I went down to Niagara to finish, none of them had been in the field. Or they had for like the first 6 years, and it was like 20 years later. We had one class towards individuals with exceptionalities. My favorite way to say it, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Right? I love it so much. And it was children with exceptionalities in the Ontario classroom. And it was one course.
Wow.
Was the Niagara program.
Yeah.
Whereas up in Aurelia, all the teachers were in the field while they were teaching us.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your future plans, if you're comfortable talking about it, because you've told me some things, and I think it's so awesome. So tell us.
I find this fascinating too.
Yes.
So I absolutely love what I do, and if I had my way, I'd be in it forever. But my body is breaking down.
Which a lot of people also don't understand comes with our job as well.
It's very rare to be in this industry for more than 15, 20 years tops. And at that point, you're considered a lifer.
Yeah. And I've already done 12.
Yeah.
Come this June, it's 12 years. And my body was already broken.
Yeah. Let's let people know half of your experience has been with high behavioral.
Oh, yeah.
And,
the majority
full
of
SMG.
Yeah. The majority of it has been hands-on with high behavior individuals who were not accepted at other places except for where I was working.
Yeah, exactly.
My first bit in the field at the summer camp, we were hands-on on hiking trails and swimming pools and outdoors with the sun down on us all the time. And, you know, that was the first thing. And I was 20 years old and I didn't have any education or experience or anything.
Right.
And I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Like I was there for 2 years. And it was high behavior and I fell in love with it. But the thing that people don't realize as well is you have to be able to protect yourself. And that comes at a cost.
Oh, yeah.
So I've worked hands-on and hands-off. I left the hands-off to go back to hands-on.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't keep myself or other residents, staff, whatever, safe.
I can't imagine being hands-off in, you know, the setting that we work at.
It was the same level of clients that we have.
Yeah.
And it was hands off. We had to go run and hide, put the medication on the counter, hope they took it, and call the cops.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane. Yeah. And I just got to the end of my rope, and I said, I can't do this anymore. I've done 3 years of this, and I'm done. And
really
then I
tough.
came back to hands-on.
Yeah, I think that's another... I think people are oblivious. I don't know if that's the right word. It sounds a little harsh, but...
Ignorant?
They just they don't understand.
That's the thing. It's lack of understanding. Because like you can explain containments to someone, and especially
what?
Yeah, like especially in my situation because I'm with
children.
Youth.
Yes.
People just don't understand. They can't fathom why we have to do that, and really, it's.
Oh, I have
only a part of it is for our safety. People have to realize
it's for
that
them.
We're there to
yeah, but
keep
I
those
have like
kids
two
safe.
sides. I have family members who still don't understand why I am in the field that I'm in, and people who are like, "You work with those people?"
Yeah.
And then they're like, "So do you just taser them if they're trying to run after you?" And I'm like, "No,
we bear hug them and then we call for people to help hold
what
them."
What are you talking about? Why would I do that?
Yeah.
But they're like, well, you're in danger. And I'm like, there is protocols and things in place that we can do to help ourselves and them to be safe. And that does not involve tasers. So just to put it out there for anyone who's wondering, no, there's no tasers involved.
And also to clarify, we don't want to have hands on.
Never.
No.
We don't want to be holding people and restraining people. We don't want to do this. We're not in it.
No.
For that. We're not corrections officers. No.
Yeah,
we don't get a high off it.
No, and we're trained on an immense amount of de-escalation tactics.
Absolutely.
And we try every single one prior to going into hands-on. So
the only time it's hands-on is when there is absolutely no other option.
Yeah.
And it's a trigger. You see it in their eyes. They're not there anymore. They're a different person, and it's...
When it's safety... the safety has to come first, and if you've already exhausted everything else, you still have that in your back pocket to keep people safe, and that's why I went back to hands-on.
Yeah.
But doing it for as long as I have in that part of the field with these types of individuals, I love the complexity of them. You know, at camp, it's terrible, and I'm sorry, but they used to say these guys... They hit more than one branch on the mental health tree on the way down.
Yeah.
Is what they used to say. Because almost everyone who is in this part of the field that we work in is complex, which means multiple diagnoses.
Absolutely.
And, you know, like we work with someone who is autistic and extremely OCD and extremely ODD, which oppositional defiant disorder.
Yeah.
So you put those three things together. Yeah. You have someone who sees the world in a different way, who wants to do things that he's supposed to do, but doesn't want to do them if you ask because his brain says, no, I don't want to.
No, imagine dealing with that cocktail cognitively.
Exactly.
Like,
and for them, like,
you would be in
what
behaviors.
They're going
it
through.
Doesn't matter who you are. It's...
And I tell everyone when I train them with that particular person that he's warring with himself first. Yeah. And then what we see is after he's already had the fight in his head.
Right.
We're seeing what's after that.
Yeah. And
so
people don't understand. And it's funny when you explain the stories of, you know, especially when they get verbal with us and it's I'll fucking kill you and your family, and people can't fathom
I'm going to skin you alive and crush your bones.
People can't fathom how we can keep our cool during that scenario. And it's like... You have to remember that
like it's not about you. You have to take yourself out of that.
Yeah, and people have to understand that they are struggling mentally. They don't want to hurt us. They're not there to they don't want to be, because they know like what's going to happen. They don't want to go to the floor. They don't want to deal with any of that.
And they know they don't feel good afterwards, even if they don't end up with hands-on. They know that their de-escalation, their come down afterwards, they don't feel good.
No, and honestly, it's a beautiful thing in the sense that, yes, I don't want to say this wrong. It's not a negative thing when you're de-escalating and they're either crying or feeling, emotionally distressed.
Yeah, no, but there's nothing wrong with it. There's so many emotions and feelings built up.
And there's such a lack of empathy on a day-to-day basis that when they actually feel those emotions, it's like, wow, like, yes, they are human and they feel what we feel. And so you come to that realization when you're doing the de-escalation because of, like I'm sorry. And like, you can see it.
Yes.
You can feel their emotions. So
I get the most fulfillment working with nonverbal individuals.
Yeah.
High behavior, high functioning, nonverbal.
Okay.
Because they can't tell you what's going on, but when you get to know them and you have a connection with them, you can see it because you can read them.
Yeah.
And, I've worked with someone who has very little affect, but once you get to know them, there's 3 or 4 different smiles that happen, and I can tell you the relation of them.
Well, and the same concept as, so when my son was born, or I guess prior to him being born, me and his mother at the time were
She's still his mother.
I said that wrong. No, I meant us at this time.
I know what you meant. Yeah. It was just so funny. Me and his mother at the time.
Yeah. Anyways.
As opposed to his mother now.
Yeah. So we were contemplating whether or not to sign with him prior to him becoming vocal. There's a lot of controversy on whether or not those tactics work.
Yeah.
And whether
I've seen
or not
both sides.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is you have to do it properly.
Yeah.
If you're going to sit there and sign to your kid, or if you're in a social setting where your kid is signing or saying something and you're going, oh, he wants this or she wants that or she's saying that, and you answer for them, then it's going to be an issue. You're
enabling,
But,
instead of using it as a teaching moment.
Right. Yeah. And it's a form of communication prior to them being at the development stage of actually being able to vocally communicate. Yeah. So it's the exact same thing as a nonverbal client, where it's like my kid hardly cried. And this is the honest truth, is he would sleep through the entire night. I mean, he's human. He cried. He felt emotion, but there was so much more communication because if he needed something or if we needed something from him, there was that communication, and he latched on to his signing very, very well, and we saw we saw a huge outcome from that, and then I mean by age 2 he was full sentences, and you know what I mean. So, and I'm not like. Genetics scare the shit out of me. I have so many learning disabilities.
It's true. He's terrified. He still tells me every day.
My dad has learning disabilities. Like, our vocabulary is not that strong. And Caitlin is, but it always scared me thinking, he could go through the exact same issues.
But you have the awareness, and we're in the field. We know the tools. We have the tools. We can advocate for him if he needs things in place to help him learn better.
That was the other cool thing is,
which you didn't.
I went back to school after he was born, so I was I was learning the early development and everything in school while he was going through it.
Okay.
So it's so fascinating to see,
for sure.
Like, oh shit, my kid's right on point. Like, he's exactly where he's supposed to be.
We're good.
So school helped ease your worry.
100%. Yeah, because I learned so much on how to deal with specific things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But no, I love just going back to working with individuals that are nonverbal, because when they're upset, like there's a client that I've worked with, and he never wants to hurt you ever, ever, ever. And if you know him well enough, you can figure out how he's feeling by just looking into his eyes, sort of thing. He's frustrated.
Yeah.
And then you do have to take that leap, that educated guess about what it is. But if you take the time to get to know these people and it's fulfilling, and I absolutely love my job. And like I said, my body's breaking down from years of service to these guys, and if I could continue doing it, I would.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be able to.
Right.
My second love is baking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to throw a wrench in that.
Yeah, we got to get back into the segue here.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Of your future.
It's okay. You just take over. It's okay. Alicia got it back on track.
Yeah, it's perfect.
All good. But I love baking, and so I want to open up a cafe and have it staffed by individuals like the ones we work with.
Yeah, on the spectrum.
Obviously not ones who are going to have behaviors every day.
Don't be afraid to come into her cafe, folks.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, I want to use it as a learning tool, like some life skills, and for some of these individuals, have them learn how to serve the food, how to plate the food, and I can do all the baking and make my own recipes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I think it's just perfect.
And then down the road, after I get that established, I would like to open up the back, the kitchen area and everything for at-risk youth from high school and do life skills classes. This is how you boil eggs. This is how you do this cleaning. This is how you count money.
Yeah.
I did placement in an alt-ed class when I was doing child and youth work, and I had kids that were 14 and 15 that were on parole for drug dealing, so they had the money sense, but nothing else.
Right.
And I would love to be able to give kids like that the opportunity to just be able to at least do something for themselves.
Well, and it's not like they're not driven. Like you
said,
I mean, drug dealers are very driven people in the sense that it's not that easy of a job. Like it takes a lot of logistics and it takes so
absolutely.
It's
but I'd love to be able to just give them at least an option of another avenue.
Yeah,
of course.
But I mean, that's down the line.
Well, and building a community of, like, if you were to franchise and you had more than one place, like, you're opening up places where they'd feel comfortable to work, because it's like, so-and-so does this job, and if they can accept it, if they're doing well, then I know I can, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think there is anything like that out there.
No, there's a few in the States. There's a few cafes like that. I got the idea from seeing other ones that had opened. I haven't done a ton of research up here for Canada, but I mean, I literally just want to find a town that doesn't have one, and boom, there it is.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, I worked with a guy before who he was nonverbal. He used to work at Tim Hortons. He'd go and he'd wipe down the tables. He'd do the dishes. He'd take the garbage out, and I feel like he could have done more in a less hectic setting.
Yeah.
And so, I would love to have a cafe open from, say, like 6:30, 7 o'clock until 3.
Yeah.
And then, I've got the evening if I end up opening it up for life skills or whatever, but it's a half day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, even if these individuals come in for an hour, half an hour, it's still something.
Absolutely.
Well, half day cafe, half day school. Like it's and culinary,
exactly.
basics and
yeah.
It's a great idea.
And I would just love to be able to give these guys something to do outside of their regular programming.
Right.
Because there's like, we even work with some guys that could do it, that have the capabilities if they have the mentoring.
Yes.
And like the kids at my work, for example, they are so much better behaved when they're in school.
Because there's something.
It's a routine. It's something to look forward to, and it's. You would think that they would, just like any other kid, be like, "Fuck school! Like I want nothing to do with it."
No.
It's the complete.
They
opposite.
need structure and they need routine.
Yeah, they need
because
to be
they
engaged.
can't. Like there's no connection there where I'm bored. I need to find something to do. I need to keep myself busy. Like typically developing adults and even, I guess, youth, you could say, they have that ability to understand, like, I need to be doing something right now. I should probably be productive. But there is that disconnect when you're on the spectrum or you're having some other sort of diagnoses, right?
Yeah.
So having the structure for them definitely helps them.
Well, and I've been asked so many times by family and other people, like, well, you took child and youth work. Why aren't you working with children?
Right.
I took it because of the overlap. I took it with the specific reason of working in this part of the field. I wanted to work with adults on the spectrum, multiple diagnoses, high behavior. I was very narrow-minded when I took it.
Okay. Right.
Because I feel like they're the ones that we've let down.
Yeah.
To be honest, like youth have more available to them and are easier to shape.
Yes.
And, we're getting there slowly but surely. A lot of the youth that are in homes and stuff now, they're getting that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the adults that are in the homes right now didn't.
No, yeah. And I mean,
so I feel like if we can be there for them to help as much as we can, because, a lot of them are already just very rigid in their ways because they didn't have that.
Well, I think a lot of the development programs stop when they turn 18. It's just like oh, well, you're an adult now.
Well,
it's
funding
like
wise, first of all,
Oh, funding's
of course.
Gone.
And, yeah, for all the learning programs and centers and stuff. And then there is so many people I hear, they're adults. Why would you try to teach them stuff now?
Which doesn't make any sense because cognitively speaking, they are not adults.
Yes, but not even that. We're still learning in our 20s. We go to college, university, we're learning. We get jobs, we're learning. We can switch careers if we want. Like, we never stop learning.
Plus, evolution is so fast now. Like, things are literally interchanging and things change within weeks' time. So it's like, how can you say that they have the skills they need and just kind of
but it's
let
also
them
remembering
live their lives?
It's remembering to be on their level, though.
Yeah.
That's the other side of it. Because, we're all still learning. But, I mean, this person may be able to learn to do... They go from a 20-piece puzzle to a 100-piece puzzle,
Yeah.
But this person, they can learn how to count money.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
like, it's making sure you're on the level. It's still learning. 100%. Like, 100% agree and everything else. It's still learning. But it's making sure you're on the right level of learning. Because just like us, no one person is the same or at the same level.
Absolutely.
It's the lack of profiling.
Yeah.
It's like they go off a profile that was created...
years
statistically,
ago.
when they were 6, and then again when they're 12, 13,
I
and
see it all the time.
And I mean, if all someone learns from age 8 until age 22 is how to use a cup for water and how to say please and thank you, it's still learning.
Absolutely.
We still did our job. We still taught them something. If they're content in their life and doing what they're doing, I don't agree with changing it too much, depending on how they are.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's where they're at. My cousin is autistic, and she's in her 20s. She's nonverbal, and she's very much stuck on everything purple and puppy and the sequels of everything because she's mentally about 5.5. But she gets taught new art projects. She gets, but it has to be something she's interested in at her level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, she's 20-something, but she's 5.5.
Yeah.
Well, and they have to be engaged. And like you said, there's no filter. So if it's something they're not interested in, then they are not interested in. It's very clear.
Which we're the same. Like,
exactly. Of course.
We're exactly the same. Why would I do something I have absolutely no interest in?
Right.
Why would someone try to
in front of me?
Right? Like, why would someone try to force you to do things that you have absolutely no interest in learning or doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's learning where the interest is to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. I think the cafe idea is so cool.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's any rich folk out there that want to invest.
Invest.
I'm thinking really hard at you.
A very good cause.
It is. It's a great cause.
Maybe we'll start a GoFundMe for you or something like that.
Oh, that's a good idea. There you go.
And any ideas for names? I'm taking brainstorms because the name I had has been taken by a cafe in the States.
Yeah.
Puzzles and coffee.
And remember, she likes her dark comedy. So if it's a clever one that has to do with the tism, then we'll take it. So leave some names in the comments.
Yeah, go for it.
That's funny. All right, let's play a game quickly. All right, we're gonna do 2 questions of would you rather because we like to talk a lot.
Yeah, we like to have
that's fine. And I worked
fun
hard.
Game.
Try working with me. I'm at the same level of talking at work.
Yeah.
Actually, my questions are not that great today, so it's fine. Okay. So it's good. It worked out. Okay, question number 1. Would you rather lose all of your friends but win the lottery or have all of your friends and never get a raise?
Oh, God.
Jay's like, fuck friends.
No, personally, I would have to say friends.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I would lose all my friends and win the lottery.
I know.
For sure.
You're a sociopath, though, so.
I mean, like, I'd lose all my friends, win the lottery, and then buy them back.
Oh. See, she goes with the technical routes like I do.
I'm all about loopholes.
Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
In my games, there is no loopholes.
She doesn't allow loopholes.
No, there's no loopholes.
Okay, but it said lose all of them and win the lottery. There was nothing after that.
Listen, you can never see them again. That's it. They're gone. Bye.
I can still buy them and talk to them online.
No, you can't. They're gone.
Okay, so I'll anonymously donate to them, and then just, they can send me, like, thank you cards through the mail over the years. So you would take
the money over friends?
I mean, no, I wouldn't.
Really?
I would take friends.
Aw.
And if I never got a raise, I would just find another job that paid more and just keep doing that.
This is not a loophole either. See, this is it. This is what you get paid, no matter where you work.
I'm too extroverted to not have people in my life.
Yeah, but you make new friends. That's it.
Oh.
See, the thing is I can make new friends, but do I want to lose the ones I have right now?
I was going to say,
that's what it comes down to.
This will just be really
That means
rude
you would never see me again.
Yeah, fuck my friends. Like, I'll find new ones.
I know you won the money.
Yeah, but I mean, do you never want to see me again? Like, is that honestly what you're telling me right now?
I would just live in a school
really
bus
want the money,
in the
though.
middle of the woods.
Well, fine. Screw you, too.
Okay, see, you want to live in the middle of the woods on a school bus and not be anywhere near this province.
Fucked up world we live in.
You can do that with friends. You don't need the money.
I know, but you're probably never going to see them again. Or you may see them like once every 5 years.
They can bring their school buses, too, and you can
just
have a commune.
They don't want a school bus. They don't want to come.
Just start a commune with a bunch of school buses.
See, you can make new friends though.
It can be the magic school bus town.
Oh, the magic school
It's tough because
bus.
I only have a handful of friends that are like.
Yes.
Me too.
Really close.
Yeah.
Yes, like you
I've
have.
known them a long
I know
time.
you have your friends from like 15 years ago. That's why I'm like, is it worth it?
Yeah, no, I'd have to say friends. I think.
Yeah, I'd have to say friends.
Fuck
too.
money. I hate money as it is.
I'd still keep playing the lottery in case I won and could keep my friends later.
Okay. Well, I know the answer to this one because you guys are all saints.
Good band from the UK. Shout out, girl band. All Saints.
Once again, Lexi has no idea what we're talking about.
It's fine.
No, it's fine.
You guys do your thing.
No one at work knows what I'm talking about. It's great.
She's dating a musician and she's so uneducated.
Oh, no, absolutely. I have like the most trash taste in music.
She don't need no education.
If it's not punk pop, I'm not listening to it. That's all it is. That's as trash as I go. That's it.
The founding fathers of rock and roll just rolled over in their graves.
I know. I'm sorry.
But they've been shaking their heads for years.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, next question.
All right. This is a shallow one. I like shallow ones.
Ooh, I'm bad at shallow.
Be married to someone who is really good looking but doesn't find you attractive at all, or someone ugly who finds you gorgeous.
Oh, God.
Beauty is subjective.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know what I mean.
But how ugly?
How are they personality-wise?
Like, you don't find them...
Are they an ugly person
No,
personality-wise, or are we talking aesthetics?
Can you put a bag on their head and get through it?
We're going to talk aesthetics for the purpose of this question. But, like, you're just looking at them, and it doesn't matter what they look like, because, like you said, beauty is subjective. For everyone, it's different. But you're looking at them, and you're like, there is nothing, not a bone, literally, in me that wants to be near you.
So you're just not attracted to them at all?
Not at all. But they think you're so gorgeous.
So there's a bone that could be in you.
Well, yeah.
And then what's the flip side?
Or someone who's so good looking, but they're not attracted to you at all.
But are they rich?
Yeah, you want them to be?
I mean, if they're not attracted to me and they're rich and they're fine with like someone else, I'm cool.
Yeah, are we talking poly here, or do we have to be committed?
No, okay, no. Let's say you're married to them. You're married to this person.
Okay.
And you find them so good looking, and they're like, yeah, I mean, you're all right.
I mean, do they have a twin brother?
No!
Who thinks we are good looking?
Is there a sexy pool boy?
Yeah.
No. They're gorgeous.
They're the last person on earth.
You're in love with them. You love them. You're married to them. They're super gorgeous. But they're like, yeah, you're all right. Like, imagine someone who just doesn't find you attractive. Like, they love you.
No, I'm going.
But they don't find you attractive.
No, I'd take the ugly person because I could totally just, like, put a bag on their head and get over it.
I think I would do the same.
Oh, so you want to be admired. You want the other person to find you attractive.
Yeah. Well, I'm so self-conscious as it is, so if I had someone...
Yeah, I knew your answer.
Fuck me up, yeah.
I wouldn't be able to feel good about myself unless someone else gave me a boost.
No, yeah, that's my answer.
I'd be in the fetal position in the corner of the room.
Yeah, you'd be screwed.
Yeah. I'd have so much gray hair so quickly.
I mean, if it was the other way around, I would offer to put the bag on my head.
That too, yeah, I didn't think
you know, like cut little eye holes so that I can still admire you, but you don't have to look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's
like it could go either way. There's just you gotta have a really big paper bag.
Jay, are you considering stuff?
Yeah, a lot of things are going through my mind.
Do you want a paper bag over me or yourself? Like, let me know.
Oh, no. We're good.
We're good. Okay, thank God. Okay, so yeah, we both. Thanks, man.
Just pretty cute.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, ladies.
All right.
Let's wrap this up.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Well, folks, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. It was fun. Alicia, thank you for coming.
No problem.
My jaw hurts from laughing.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh. Yeah, it was a good one.
Decent episode.
Yeah, thanks for coming and sharing.
No problem.
Super awesome.
First interview on Offbeat Banter.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And you picked the chattiest Kathy you could find.
Which is great. Yeah. Which is why I knew it was going to be great.
For sure.
Yeah. Remember to like and subscribe. And remember to find us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts.
There we go. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
That's why I keep her around.
It's like she's done it before.
Yeah. All right, folks. We love you. I love you.
Love you.
Talk to you later.
Okay. You make no sense.
I know.
Smith, what's wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
Get it together, man. We want to cut that out. Our jobs are definitely interesting.
Yeah, to say the least. It took me a long time to grow up. I've been an idiot half my life.
Because this is not the field where
it's not for you.
Yeah, like a time at your job, you're going to be absolutely miserable. Like, things are not peachy day to day, so if you can't laugh at what's happening, as bad as it is.
Some of it will be dark comedy, folks. We're not going to lie. It's all love. We're just hoping there's a lot of workers out there who will relate.